Welcome to another episode of Q It Up with the Q Brothers. As always, I am John Cosenze.
And I'm Ralph Quattrucci.
Hey, this is 2 in a row, Ralph. 2 weeks in a row.
Well, we haven't put it out yet. I mean, don't get cocky.
Oh, well, it's okay. It's recorded 2 weeks
Right.
in a row. When it gets out there, it's a whole nother issue.
Right.
So how's things going with you?
Oh, I am working at work 1 day
Yeah.
a week now. It's fantastic.
Oh, you mean on location?
I got this producer driving me hard with a bunch of shows. It never ends.
This is the 9/11 show?
That plus 2 others and 6 this and that. It just keeps
Let
happening.
me ask you something. When you're editing like a 9/11 show,
Yeah.
something as surreal as that,
Right.
Are you able to kind of take yourself out of it, or is it just relentless watching that stuff all the time?
Well, honestly, we did a one-off, which is a 40-minute show based on, but we had to watch the 6 parts. I had to watch a lot of the 6-part series that came out last year, and I had never seen a lot of the footage that they had in the show. I didn't watch it when it premiered last year, and that was devastating. You know, that was also in the middle of my getting married that week and all this, and I'm watching all, and I was having dreams about 9/11, and because, I said, there were scenes I had not seen. So sometimes you can disassociate yourself a little bit and treat it like you're just cutting whatever. Yeah. I had this thing one time. I thought I could videotape a what do you call it? A plastic surgeon had me go in and videotape an operation. I'm like, I'll just treat it like I'm looking at. But when he popped the woman's chin and did stuff, my knees buckled a little bit. I kept the camera on, but so you try to disassociate a little bit. Now, my producer, who I worked on that show, was emotionally involved in the thing and couldn't stop crying. And I don't know how he got through it and did the stuff he did, but it's turned out to be a really nice show, and I hopefully.
Yeah, because I can't even watch that stuff about 9/11. I just can't watch it. It's just too, I don't know. So to sit there and edit it over and over again.
Well, again, it becomes just another thing you're doing. It's like a car company. It doesn't matter, but yeah, when you first watch and you're going through the stuff, and like I said, there were scenes I had not seen ever. It was pretty devastating. But yeah. So what about you? What's going on this week? What are you doing?
Well, the other thing,
are you working?
I am. I've got a couple of jobs, nothing big, but starting to get a little better. People starting to do more things on site, which is great. So hopefully the second half of the year will turn around. And you are coming up this weekend to have a second wedding reception with the Quattrucci family. Right. Maria and her daughter are coming up, right? I think all your kids are coming up too, most of them?
As many as I can bring up.
It's so they've got the funnel. We've already got that. Are you going to bring your Freddie Mercury jacket? Everyone was asking me.
No, I don't think so.
Ralph,
do I have to bring the microphone and everything?
No, I've got microphones. You don't have to bring that, but the jacket.
I'll bring it.
You're going to need. Okay,
I didn't know that was the thing.
Well, after everyone saw the pictures and the videos from your last one, we want the same thing.
I don't know if I want to get as hammered as I did. When I'm up there with mom and dad.
Yeah, because you wouldn't do that. You definitely try to pace yourself and not drink too much. Right. Yeah, because that's your MO. So all I say is just remember most of it. Unlike the last time we were together, just try to remember most of it.
The stuff I forgot, I don't even care that I forgot because it wasn't a big deal.
Well, Rosie thought it was a big deal.
Yeah,
some of the
for
stuff
her
you
it
said.
might have been. For me, it wasn't.
Okay.
And all the photos I had to transfer, and I don't remember transferring. Whatever. Okay.
By the way, I'm getting my camera back on Friday. Thank God.
Okay, good.
Fixed
I don't
up.
know how that thing broke.
Yeah, I wonder how it broke. I don't know. You don't remember that. But anyway, so this week I let Ralph pick. Normally I pick the topics because Ralph is in charge of the other show. And I suggested we bring Ralph's friend John Cosenze on, who is a good luck charm for us because we brought him on the young... Cosenze. We brought him on the other show, and we did Young Frankenstein, and we got 40,000 hits.
No, it's up to 79,000 views.
And I think 50,000 of the views are because of John, because of how much he brought to the table that particular day.
That's a group effort.
So Ralph, because he's your buddy, longtime buddy, why don't you introduce him to everybody?
Yeah, here he is, John Cosenze, Emmy Award-winning producer for National Geographic. John and I have known each other. John hired me 35 years ago now. John?
Welcome. Oh, I didn't know that. He hired you?
You can talk, John Cosenze.
Oh, hey. Sorry. I was waiting for my cue.
No one said action.
Q, I get it.
Cue it up.
I get it. Q.
Yeah, it's cue it up. Emmy Award winning. I didn't know you hired him, John.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he's ever told you the story, but my roommate, my original roommate from college, I'd gotten him a job at the place I was working at, and for some weird reason, he went and joined the Army, and so that left a vacancy. And my boss at the time said, "Hey, you got any more of those Fitchburg State people, that we can bring down?" And I called the school, and Dr. Lee Denike said, "Yeah, I got a few people." And he next thing you know, I'm hearing from Ralph, and he drives down in his little, what was that Renault you had? Renault LeCar?
Renault Alliance.
The Renault Alliance.
Yeah.
5-speed. Stick, 5 on the floor.
The purple one.
Yeah. So Ralph pulls into the parking lot, and the time he had gotten there, the boss was just getting ready to leave. So he's out in the parking lot in his Lincoln Town Car. And so Ralph's job interview was in the back of the Lincoln Town Car. It lasted all of what, 5 minutes, Ralph, if that?
Yep. Yeah, literally in the back of a Lincoln Town Car.
Yeah, it's right out of
I
the
don't know.
mall.
We're getting all kinds of delay here. John's gone. Nice smile.
No.
I'm delayed. Now you're back.
Okay, so wait. So you did not go to Fitchburg State. So you didn't meet him
John
till
Cosenze,
this job
John-
interview?
John,
Yes, I
Pittsburgh
went to
State, graduated before I did. He was there before me.
You did. Okay.
Yeah. 1982.
Did you know him?
Right.
But you didn't know him.
No, I played football, so I didn't hang around with guys like Ralph. So
No. I was strictly in the TV department.
Yeah. Ralph
He
was
did
a lover,
call
not a
back and
fighter.
say, best
Oh, I
editor
didn't
you
realize
guys
that.
produced at Fitchburg, and that's how I got the job. That's how I got down there. And we lived together for the first few years.
Was Dick busy or something?
He is in another profession.
Oh, so you moved in with him right away?
That's funny. Yeah.
Wow.
yeah,
I did not know that.
We had a guy's apartment, and we would always
yeah.
fight to see who would pick up the dog shit that the dog we had at the time would.
Wasn't my dog. Butts.
Wasn't
I
my
think was
dog.
his name.
I was going to say, you guys didn't share a dog, did you? I mean, it's okay if that's, that's okay.
The dog lived in the house,
You
I
guys
think.
rented
I
that.
don't remember.
I mean, I didn't.
Yeah.
All right, enough about
Yeah.
our ancient history. So, and now 35
Well,
years later, we're working together. We're working together at National Geographic.
Is he the producer on this thing you're cutting right now?
He's the producer on everything.
He
I'm
is the
cutting.
guy you've been talking about.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's the loading
every
me.
time I get in the edit suite with Ralph working on the 9/11 show, he has to give me a few minutes and I'm glad I'm behind it because then I can have my moment and
Oh,
wait
listen,
till my
I'm with
voice
ya.
isn't cracking anymore.
That's got to be an emotional
And,
beatdown to just see that stuff over and over and over again. It's got to be.
I'm John. I have to tell you just a quick story. We go into the office on Tuesdays, so I was there yesterday. I hope it's okay to date the show, but
That's
one
fine.
of the producers that reports to me is also working on a 9/11 show, or it's 9/11 related, and he had a box of firefighter helmets and coats that were found at Ground Zero that he had been videotaping, and I just walked up to say hi to him, and he had them right by his desk, and he knew Ralph and I were working on this show, and he said, "Hey, you want to see this stuff?" And I'm like, "What is it?" And he said, he told me what it was, and I immediately got this chill down my spine, and I said, "No way,
Wow.
I just couldn't."
Wow.
So
Now we're crying because it never ends.
yeah,
Oh, the edit, you mean?
The stage
Yeah.
is where
Yeah.
now we're dealing with we have to blur faces and there's certain things that are happening, and it never ends. But anyway, that's television. So
Well, on a more positive note, so we invited John on, and Ralph actually just decided to let John pick the movie, which is great. It was also a movie I had never seen. Ralph, had you seen this movie before?
no.
Okay, good. So John, why don't you tell us the movie? And what we usually do here is I'm curious about why this is the movie you wanted us to watch for this show. So tell us the movie you picked, a little bit about it, and why you wanted us to watch it.
well, the name of the movie is The Gentleman, a Guy Ritchie film. Even though I'm in television, I never really pick out a movie just because a director did it. It's, for me, it's just a feel. It's whatever. And COVID, it's been a long haul, and pretty much all I do is, for my job, watch TV, and then I leave this chair and go to my the chair right behind me, and I watch TV all night. And so just watching a ton of stuff and going through Netflix, I believe, and saw it. It looked interesting. I read the brief description, and I turned it on and was sucked in from the first 2 minutes, and was just it for me personally. It's one of my top 5 movies.
Words here. So before you give us a description of the film, tell us who the cinematographer is and what film stock they shot it on. No, just kidding.
Yeah, this is something that Ralph asked me for every one of our projects. It's like, I'm the producer, and then he goes, "What frame rate was it shot in?" Because that'll help him figure out, all the little technical things he's got to do for the show. And I'm like, "What I have no idea." So then
I assume he wouldn't ask that
just
question
give us a
without him
synopsis.
knowing himself.
Give us a synopsis of the film, and then we'll dive into it.
Well, first of all, what year did this come out?
I think it was released in 2019.
And who's in it?
So it's the cast was really I don't know. Mathew McConaughey's the lead. I forget her name, the lady from Downton Abbey. She played Mary. I forget her name. I'm sorry.
You talking about the wife?
Yeah,
she played the wife.
Michelle Dockery.
Something.
Michelle Dockery.
Yeah.
Michelle Dockery.
Yep.
Then it's Hugh Grant, who plays this really sort of slimy, gay,
unrecognizable Hugh Grant.
Yeah, flamboyant,
Yeah.
but just not the kind of character you would expect Hugh Grant to play.
No.
And then Colin Farrell was the guy.
Great.
Just
that was a surprise.
Right. But then so the guy, what's his name too?
Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy, right?
Yep.
That's what he was in. But it's just as the characters came on screen and you sort of started to get the feel of the movie.
All right, so let's explain. It's a Guy Ritchie film about the London underworld that includes right now Mathew McConaughey plays a drug dealer,
Marijuana dealer.
A huge marijuana dealer that he's got giant, he's got stuff everywhere, and it's who's the guy that's playing he's not on this. I can't believe it. Anyway, so it's about
the billionaire who he wants.
The billionaire. I don't know why he's in Succession. There he is, Jeremy Strong. I'm sorry, Jeremy Strong.
And Ralph, I have to disagree with you. It's not about the London underworld. It's about London society.
Well, what do you mean the London society?
Yeah.
It's not about the underworld of London. This is, the whole premise.
Colin Farrell is part of the Wait a minute. Colin Farrell's part of the underworld. They're all gangsters.
He just happens to wander into this. No, Colin Farrell he's not a gangster. He just cares about these boys that.
Right.
Yeah, but those boys are part of a gang. They're a gang that dress like him and walk around like him, and
they're just
Yeah, but this is okay. It's a Guy Ritchie film about London society, London underworld a little bit. It's the underworld. These are gangsters.
I think John should be getting the synopsis because you've been wrong almost
I was
all the
trying
way
to get
through
there,
it.
but
So go ahead, John. Yeah, well, you got there the wrong way. John, go ahead, go. It's your call.
I'm sorry, Ralph. I didn't mean to. But it's
no, call him out.
It's John's show.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking there? You're not drinking beer. What's going on?
Some water.
I'm saving up
for this weekend.
Nice. All right, John. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I think it's more about London society, and that to me was what was intriguing. So you have drug dealers who you normally think, live in these. Are we allowed to curse on this show?
Yes.
Ralph.
Joe, you better ask him.
Ralph gives the okay.
Not an F-bomb.
You can just.
No. But they, you just associate drug dealers with, shitty neighborhoods and, rundown houses and all this kind of stuff. And it's just the opposite. So Mathew McConaughey had been working for years at this business, and now he's got it to a point where he wants to give it up so that he can retire and live amongst the British social elite.
Right.
And so
because he's playing an American, I think from Oklahoma. He's playing an American from Oklahoma, right? I think that's the back in him.
Yeah, but he went to Oxford. He was very intelligent and then realized instead of getting an education, he had a knack for horticulture,
right?
And turned it into this business. And over the years, got it to the point where somebody could, make a lot of money, or he could make a lot of money from selling the business.
Right.
And I don't think he necessarily wanted to sell. It was just, he explains it in the movie that when pot goes legit, because obviously when they make it legal, you're going to need
infrastructure,
sort of a clean figure.
Yeah.
Well,
and
but you're going to need somebody to head it up who doesn't have a shadowy background like he does. And that's why he works out the deal with the billionaire to sell his business. And so it's just the story is Mathew McConaughey trying to make this deal happen, and then realizing, without giving too much away, that the billionaire wants to, in true billionaire fashion, doesn't want to pay him full price for the business and does everything he can to devalue it. And then just the twists and turns, and you never know who knows what's going on and who's figuring this
and
out.
Hugh Grant is playing basically the narrator of the film as he's talking to Hunnam.
Well, he's telling the whole story.
Basically, he's laying out the story because he has been spying on Mathew McConaughey's character.
He's a private eye.
Well, he's a reporter.
No, I think he's
private investigator.
Yeah, private investigator.
Who's doing work.
Ralph, did we see the same movie?
I swear he's a reporter. Wasn't he a reporter?
No, he's not.
He's
The newspaper hired him.
Oh, okay. That's what I meant.
To spy on everybody. Yeah.
So he was looking to make a payday, looking to make the payday from the story, but then realized he's got his retirement nest egg right there too. And so his character, while slimy and so not Hugh Grant, but just
he's
obviously
he's trying to get $20 million out of him. Yeah.
Right. And the newspaper's paying him $150,000.
Right. And then just the premise that the newspaper editor, the reason why he hired Hugh Grant was because this slimy drug dealer didn't shake the slimy newspaper editor's hand, and it pissed him off. And again, that's the sort of it's not these, the drug dealers on the street who are, when you disrespect somebody, you pull out your gun and shoot them. He got disrespected and wanted to, get back at the guy the way he knows how to get back at them, and that's find all the dirt that he can and put it in an exclusive story that will call the guy out and ruin his life.
And part of the problem was by selling the business, other people thought it was a show of weakness, so they were going to try to take it over. So that was the whole thing too. That in the relationship with him and the wife was really good, was really interesting too. I really liked her a lot, and I think someone else, I can't remember who the actress was, but she quit who's Kate Beckinsale? She quit 2 weeks before it because she had something going on in her life. So this one, what is it? It's Beckinsale.
No,
what is it?
Beckinsale.
It's Beckinsale.
What? Why? Oh, okay.
I just love the way you mispronounce
her. That's one of the things. That's one of the mainstays of this show. We mispronounce everybody's name. But she, the actress who took the role got it like 2 weeks before she had to actually start shooting.
And it's funny her like in a gangster role, not as a period piece. She's always in these period pieces, and she was great. She was really good. But also and this is a Guy Ritchie thing where it's just all these kind of weird characters that are criminals. These are all criminals. But they're great person. Who's not a criminal in this film?
Colin Farrell in the movie, he said he did gangster stuff. He doesn't do them anymore. He's trying to help these kids. And it was, in fact, he was disappointed. Like, if you remember that last scene where when the two Russian guys come in, he just kind of shook his head because he knew he had to do one more bad thing. He didn't want to do it. His whole goal was, that's why he freaked out on the kids who stole from Mathew McConaughey, because he goes, what are you doing? This is not what we're supposed to be doing. So he wasn't a criminal.
Well, I think at one point he was probably wait a minute. I think at one point he was probably a criminal before he became a coach.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's fair. Not is.
So, right, okay, but I'm just saying he likes
criminals. And he was
hilarious.
He was hilarious. That was fun. That first scene where they introduce him, when he's mouthing off to the kids, was just great. Is that the best you could do? Come on, with those accents.
Well, my God! Some of my favorite scenes were, where his boys, Ernie, the leader of his boys. I mean, they do this all to produce fight porn,
right?
And it's funny because Ernie Ernie was me, as a producer. He's out there getting his stuff, and because you see him literally working with his editor to make sure that they get all the right angles before they drop it out on the internet. That this fight porn stuff, and then just the song and the rap and all that. It was just, I'm watching it, and even I'm sitting there, I can't dance a lick. I'm trying to, and I forget what the lyric was, but it was about the bush, Yeah.
Well, what I liked about that scene the most was when they're trying to rob the place, and all of a sudden these big burly guys come in, and there's a standoff, and you think they're going to get their ass handed to them,
right? And
you don't find out till they show the video, and they're flipping around and jumping. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So that was completely unexpected.
Yeah, and what did you think when one of the guys, the burly guys who worked for Mathew McConaughey, reported to him? He sits there and goes, well, "These guys knew what they were doing. Lots of respect, lots of respect to these young kids because they got their asses kicked."
Yeah, I thought that was great. This was a completely unexpected movie for me. I'm familiar with Guy Ritchie stuff. I know I've seen some of his movies. I haven't seen the English stuff like Snatch and Lock, Stock, and a Smoking Barrel, I think it's called. I haven't seen those, but this really, it lost me. At one point, it lost me a little bit. Ralph talks about a lid drop. I had a little bit of a lid drop, but it didn't last very long because that opening really caught me by surprise. I said, okay, so this is going to be like Sunset Boulevard, the dead body in the pool, and we're going to see how it got there. So it was a good thing, and then and I guess we shouldn't give away spoil. Well, it's 2019.
Yeah, but it's out now.
But I like the way. Yeah. Okay, then we won't give any. We will not give any spoilers. But yeah, I really liked this. It was interesting. I thought Mathew McConaughey was great in it. The whole cast was really Hugh Grant, because we just did Notting Hill, when he was his goofy leading man guy. And in this movie, not only did he look unrecognizable, but the voice he did sounded nothing like Hugh Grant. I couldn't.
Someone
believe
said
it.
He was trying to do Michael Caine. Might have been a little Michael Caine slipping in there a little bit.
Michael Caine.
So,
did you see him when he was running? When he was running away, how he jumped over that little head.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, he was playing a homosexual. He was hitting on that guy. He was hitting on that guy the whole time.
I didn't get that. Really? He was very subtle about it.
Yeah, it was subtle. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, too much subtext.
But when he ran over the bushes, you're like, oh, he does run. A little funny.
But the whole.
But I wasn't. The thing about this film, what I liked about, a lot of people get. I'm not sure if people get killed in this film. Things look like they're going to happen, and then they cut away, and it's like. His wife takes care of the two guys when. I love that
people,
with the little.
People got killed, but the guys you think would get killed didn't, or you don't know if they did. Right. But that scene with her with that little paperweight,
yeah,
right.
I'm like that, and the guy, and the way he's just sitting there,
yeah,
and it just plops over.
No, and
she was great in that scene.
We haven't even talked the Asian guy, Dry Eye, they called him.
Yeah.
Who was also part of the plan. They had 3 or 4 stories going on, and you're right, they started with the scene where you're like, okay, what's going on? This Matthew McConaughey starring in this thing, and this happens, and it's like, what's happening? But that's the thing with Guy Ritchie.
Does he do that in all his movies? That kind of stuff?
He weaves a lot of stuff that sort of come at the end. They cut themselves up. Snatch, if you haven't seen Snatch with Brad Pitt, it's just fantastic. You can barely understand what Brad Pitt is saying because he's playing a gypsy guy, and it's just so fun. I think I saw Lock, Stock, and a Barrel a long time ago. I even like his Sherlock Holmes he does with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. Those are excellent. Yeah.
Now, Wrath of Man was the one he did in 2020. The 2021 Jason Statham. I hated that film.
Yeah.
And it's like a Ritchie film, but 2 years earlier. I didn't like it. It was stupid. And this one of course, this is 2019. Wrath of Man came out in 2021, so this is earlier. The Gentleman is a Guy Ritchie film. Just the way he's playing with you guys know the underground. Okay, we'll call it the London culture, whatever. The way he's weaving all the stories together, it's just, it's fun. It's fun.
Well, the thing there was a lot of misdirection. There was a lot of scenes redone. Like you'd see it one way, then you'd see it another way. It was, the flashbacks that they did, and you always knew, like Charlie Hunnam's character, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Ben,
but,
is it Ben?
He was a very, very cool character.
Yeah.
And that whole scene when he's getting the girl who's on heroin, because that was the other thing about this movie. He talked about heroin. Marijuana is a chill thing. Heroin kills people, and that was the big difference between the two. But when he went to that apartment, which kind of got the whole ball rolling, and confronted those kids, and the way that scene played out he was just so cool. And then when he's trying to get the phone and all those guys are there, and then he pulls out this giant machine gun, I just thought that was so great. And his character was really good. And for a second, I actually thought he was the one that turned on Mathew McConaughey. I thought he was going to be the one. So that's where I thought that was going. So what seemed kind of obvious, I'm like, nah, it couldn't be that obvious. And then the other scene I loved is when he saw Dry Eye's father, or I'm not sure what he was, the boss in the Chinese restaurant.
Lloyd George.
Lord George.
Lord George.
Yeah, when he starts projectile vomiting, and I'm going, what the hell's going on here? And then they flash back to that one scene that didn't mean anything at the time with the guy in the restaurant. So I really like that, because you really did, in this movie, you had to pay attention to what was going on to figure out the ending. So I really like that about this, and I love that whole English vibe. And the Colin Farrell was great, Hugh Grant was great, McConaughey was great, and I thought the wife, I thought that relationship, because that's why he was getting out of the business. He wanted to spend more time with his family, he said. Yeah. And then at the end, she's bent over the desk. Hi, honey. And the guy's Dry Eye's crying at that point, which I thought was really interesting, because he knew it's over, right?
Yeah.
So.
And to me, it's sort of like a modern day Blazing Saddles too, because they're right on the edge of all these racial and cultural.
Oh yeah,
like the Asian guy that they had in the trunk, and the fun they had with his name. Yeah, and then the little banter in the gym
about the black guy.
Yeah, he's called a black C word.
He's not talking about all black. Not all black guys, just you specifically.
Exactly. And he just explained it so matter of factly what
and the use of the C word.
I mean,
the use of the C word is fantastic.
That's a very Irish English thing. That's like shit to us.
Yeah, of course. It's great.
But it is, like that word, like to me, is the kiss of death, okay? You don't say that word. And to hear it thrown out, and after a certain time in a movie like that, it just, like I said, it's like shit, it doesn't mean anything. But it is a little jarring at first. But that whole vibe of that movie, I really enjoyed. So I'm dying. I actually want to go see Snatch now that I've seen this one. So I like that.
And a lot of the same people are in it. The guy playing, the guy that ends up with the pig, he's in Snatch, God. I think. Yeah.
I just can't unsee that. Yeah. I just can't unsee that. That's something you just cannot unsee. And the way Colin Farrell, is he okay? Listen, here's your clothes over here, folded up nice. You just sit there, watch that. We'll talk to you later. No problem. Just enjoy. Yeah. Enjoy. Very polite. And the look on his face.
Have a hot drink. It'll help you,
The look on his face when he's watching it. Oh, my God. That was funny. Yeah,
that's good. And that scene with the three, with Hugh Grant, Hunnam, and Colin Farrell around the flameless barbecue pit there, that warms your feet. And he's kept Hugh Grant goes, why is this little intimidating man still here? Why is he here? I don't understand.
After the guy had to cut 100 pounds of fat from his body, then they show Charlie Hunnam putting steaks on the barbecue.
1 pound. So he had to cut 1 pound. But yeah, they cut from his demise maybe to the
Right. That was great.
So,
okay, it's working. I'm intimidated. Yeah. So that was a good choice. So what made you pick this one for us to watch, though? I'm curious about that.
Again, for me, it was just, I saw it and sucked in right away. And it's one of those movies, where, I sit in my chair and I got, my soda or pop, whatever, and you realize that the movie's over and you hadn't touched it. Like you still got the soda sitting there and you still got the bowl and you haven't moved. I didn't check my phone once during the movie. A lot of the movies today, you can, it's like I think you said it, John, it wasn't obvious what was going to happen. Yeah. I had my same, I love to sit there and be able to guess what's going to happen. And I couldn't, throwing in this Russian kid, that just happens to fall off the balcony. Well, I mean, that whole twist, he ends up being the one in the freezer, but you don't know that until
Right.
later in the show. And
Well, and he starts that one scene in the restaurant, whatever, when Mathew McConaughey comes in, sets the tone for the whole thing because
Right.
you're like, what's going on?
Right, what just happened?
Why would they do that? But he does that. Even Snatch does that. Snatch has like it's all things are happening. You're trying to figure out how they all
Connect.
fold together, and it all works.
yeah.
Lots of fun.
Yeah,
He
but
also directed. I'm sorry, Man from Uncle.
Right. There was a poster.
Man from Uncle.
There's a poster in the movie in the
Yeah,
background.
it's not bad. That's not a bad film.
Yeah, it's
so
all
you
right.
mean the movie?
Yeah, the
not-
movie with Army
Henry
Hammer
Cavill, and I forget who the other guy. But,
Army Hammer there. The guy
yeah,
was
well,
a
that's
sexual
before
pervert.
he started
that
eating
guy,
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, before he
Oh,
started.
cannibal, sexual deviant, and a
Yeah,
cannibal.
whatever.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's the same.
No, it's just it's Hollywood.
Yeah.
So
So I asked John Cosenze, pick a film you want to come on and talk about, and this is the first one he picked. And I had seen a trailer for this probably a year ago, maybe, and I wanted because I like Guy Ritchie, and I just never found it until John brought it up, and then I actually watched it twice. I don't know how I forgot all the stuff you guys talk about, but I have all these other things to do, and I'm on a very difficult 9/11 show and about 17 other shows John and I are doing together. So
what the hell is that?
I've been busy.
Look, it's the world's smallest violin. Can you hear it from here?
John-
Ralph, our guests demand, our subscribers demand quality. And you provide that. And I know you've got a lot going on, but they appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's why they subscribe,
I do my
they
best.
share it, they
I do my
smash
best.
the like button because of your commitment to the show.
Right there. Hit the like button
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
I just like to say if you're a producer and you get a chance to work with Ralph, the editor, please take it. He is
The editor.
he is by far the the best editor I've ever.
He is, but you have to admit he's a little bitch while he edits. I mean,
I am a bitch.
He's
I
very
definitely
mean.
am.
He's very
and
cruel.
John's saying all this because John trained me. This is all, he created this.
So you're throwing it on him now.
No, that's
I'm blaming him.
I used to make videos with him all the time, right? And they're always, the quality is unbelievable, but he treats me like dog shit the whole time, and I got to sit there and take it because the thing always comes out so great. It's awful, but I do
Art
it
is-
because he's an artist
listen.
and he's good.
That's because art is painful.
It's very painful with you.
There's pain in art.
it
Yes,
really is.
It is.
Yeah.
Look what we
But he
create.
has changed since he got married, John. He seems to be a little mellower. I mean, this is mellow for him, so I'm happy about that.
I don't
Now-
know. He's snapped at me a couple times because I wouldn't say his wife's name. I just how's the wife? And he goes, she does have a name. So
Yeah, Mrs. Q, right?
Hmm.
No. So anyway, so I'm glad I saw this. I was pleasantly surprised by it. I wasn't quite sure at the beginning because I was a little confused about what actually was going on. But I did like it, the fact that you really had to pay attention during the movie. And I
Well, you
wanted
say
to,
that. Listen, you say that sounds like you have to pay attention to every detail.
No.
There's some films yes, there's a lot of complicated things
Yes.
happening that all come together at the
Right.
end, but it's worth the wait.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then Hugh Grant at the end giving the pitch for the movie.
I just love
is
Hugh
hilarious.
Grant in this
He
one.
listen. I will tell you, he was he's unrecognizable, and it's a very un-Hugh Grant role. Whatever you think of Hugh Grant, this is not that 90s heartthrob thing.
No,
Excellent.
I just saw him in another trailer where he plays a London gangster, and he's got giant Bob Evans glasses on, where he's playing a meaty gangster role.
Well, he had
And I
big
don't-
glasses
Mo
on
Green?
these.
Mo Green glasses.
Kind of like that, but I don't think it was this guy. I think it was somebody. I think it's another movie where he was playing a gangster. It may have been this one, because now that I'm thinking about it, I saw this trailer about
It
a
had,
year ago.
I mean, because they
It
made a
must
big
have
deal
been
out
this
of
one,
the glasses.
but I thought he was just.
And Guy Ritchie gave him red lenses because he said it made him look slimier by having the red lenses.
he was definitely playing a
Now the
side
thing
role.
about this, and again,
Now
it's
they
all-
left it open, just like his talk. They kind of left this open for a sequel or at least a continuation.
yeah, but
I think.
would they have done it by now? It was made in 2019, right? When was it
I'm just
released?
saying.
Was it released this year, or was it
I
released
think
in
it was.
2019?
That's what I mean. It was.
I
released
think it was
this
the
year.
end of 2019, and then COVID hit in 2020. So
Did it ever get a theatrical release?
Yeah, it was in theaters.
It was.
I think it.
It was.
It did okay, despite I think it. It was over 100 million gross.
And Guy Ritchie is Mrs. Madonna, right? Mr.
Not anymore,
Madonna.
though. Right? I don't think.
No,
they're
he
married.
was. At
Yeah,
one
he
point.
was.
All these terrible movies she did, he directed.
Yeah, the one on the
Swept
beach.
Away,
The one. Yeah, that.
Swept
whoa,
Away.
ah.
But
He definitely has a look. His films definitely have a look. I mean,
I was very disappointed with the Wrath of Man, but this one kind of brought me back to Guy Ritchie.
Well, it
And
makes me
I'd
want to
seen
go see Snatch now. I want to see that now.
You should definitely check it out.
All right. All right, John. So thank you for bringing that movie. I always love when someone brings a movie that I haven't seen that I end up liking, which doesn't always happen on our other show. So thank you for that. But now we do a little thing. We call it Stream Quest. And Ralph, just get that thing up because John doesn't even know how much we spent on this thing. Ready? Hit the remote.
Hang on.
Look at that. I mean, that is like... Did Industrial Light and Magic actually create that?
It cost a lot of money.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
So, John, here's what we do. We just talk about something that we happen to be streaming right now. Is there anything in particular that you're watching, and where
can be
people,
anything?
It can be anything, and where can people watch it?
Yeah, I seem to be stuck on HBO Max these days. I binged all of Game of Thrones. Like over the course of 3 weeks, all 8 seasons.
Wow.
And now I'm into season 3 of The Sopranos.
Another Sopranos guy.
Is that New Jersey culture, or are they New Jersey gangsters?
They're definitely New Jersey gangsters.
Okay. I think it's a little of both. But
underground.
Okay.
No, it's underground. Yeah.
That's the seedy side of
Jersey.
Crime.
Right.
And then, I have my guilty pleasures. I'm not afraid, but I'm embarrassed I'm a Survivor person. I
He's
wait
been
for
since day one.
The 2 times a year that Survivor comes out, I set my, I have calendar notifications to tell me.
Wow.
I'll
tell you, I've watched a couple of seasons, but the first season was not even close. Was the best because it was new. All the people were real. They weren't character archetypes that there now are on every reality TV show. And it was about as raw as you can get. Now the others are so... my sister loves that show. I'm just not... I don't watch it. The only reality show I watch is Below Deck.
I worked at a post-production company, and we had an open house the night of the Survivor finale. Nobody showed
Of season 1?
Yeah.
Of season 1? Yeah, which he called Richard a snake.
I've never seen one frame of Survivor, so I don't know what you're talking about.
It was awesome. It was brutal, but it was also the realest that show's ever been. I mean, it was. But yeah, my sister watches it too. So you watch all the Survivors. You've seen all the Survivors, all the All-Stars, all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't go back and watch, and and I don't. It's not. I don't go back to to memorize what character did what and how they played the game and everything. To me, it's just even what you said. The originals were raw and everybody was getting used to it, and now it's all about gameplay. And all of the people on there are super fans who have studied, the winners and the losers and what to do and what not to do. And to me, that alone is just intriguing because ultimately, it's. You end up in the same place. The people that win are the people that were the nastiest and played played the game the worst, in a lot of ways, but the best in a lot of ways too. It's just it allows me to just tune out. I think we had a few years ago we had before our current company who bought us owned National Geographic, we had some people come in and they described a lot of TV shows as Cheetos. People tune in because they just wanted to, for 30 minutes or an hour, they just want to forget about everything, and that to me is what Survivor is. It's the hour that I can spend a week, just being, not having to worry about the craft that I've chosen as a career, to think about.
So you can shut off.
I want to go back.
Wait a minute. One question. You can shut off your creative brain and just watch the show for what it is without thinking about how they did it? Or the production involved?
And that's why I liked this movie, The Gentleman, because the only time I find myself thinking about, what something was done and how it was done is when I don't like something. It's like I have that moment when I'm watching and I go, what was that? Or it's so bad that I sit there and go, oh my God, the acting is horrible. And obviously,
you don't see bad editing, but you don't see good editing. You don't care. But when there's bad editing, you're just like, what's going on?
Well, if you're engaged in the story, you're not paying attention to that. Right. You're engaged in the story, right?
It's Ralph. It's like the shows we work on. You know, people want to see the content. That if something that somebody shot at midnight on their cell phone shows something, you know, extraordinary, they don't care what the lighting was like, or, you know, the framing, or you know, it's what is being, you know, shown to you across the screen, whatever that everybody gets sucked into. And to me, that's what it's all about. To me, watching TV or a good movie, it's about the feeling I get, you know, the fact that I can sit there and I'm either intellectually challenged, or it's so absurd that I'm enjoying it because it is so stupid. You know, that's what it's. So unless it's really bad, I don't start looking at, you know, how things could have been done differently.
Right. I want to go back to Game of Thrones for a minute. So I watched the first episode of Game of Thrones and I absolutely hated it.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I had no desire to watch any more of them, so I never did. But I know people who say you got to get by the first few episodes and you'll really get into it. But I wanted to ask you, everyone who I know watches that show was very disappointed by the 8th season. Were you one that was?
You know, when it originally came out, yeah, I was like, oh my God, you know, all of this and that. But when I just finished it a few weeks ago, everything seemed to make sense to me. It all made sense. And you know what? I think it's because I could watch, like on a Saturday night, if there was nothing else on, I'd watch 3 or 4 episodes in a row. And so everything made sense.
So it flowed better. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, you didn't have to wait for a week to forget about, you know, something that, and then 8 seasons, you know, over the course of 3-4 weeks, everything made sense. And then the ending was so much better.
Interesting. Because the prequel's coming out, you know, they're making a prequel. So out in the nerdosphere, it's getting panned a little bit. So already. Well,
and you know, it's maybe I'm a little weird, but I watched it and I read the books. I literally read the books when it first came out. And now I'm rereading them after I've seen them. And it's just so much more interesting because the characters have a face, you know, and all that.
So you picture in the book, it's like Lord of the Rings. Same thing with Lord of the Rings. I did the same thing with that. Yeah.
So.
All right, Ralph's bored with this kind of talk. So he doesn't like hairy feet or elves and stuff like that. So
dragons. Although Patty, my sister Patty, said I should really sit and watch.
She's obsessed with the show.
Yeah, look,
I forget what I asked her to watch.
Here's a dragon right there.
There you go.
Furry feet, Middle Earth people. It doesn't do me any. It does nothing.
You're more an orc guy.
No, I'm grounded.
How'd you know Middle Earth? I'm pretty impressed you knew Middle Earth, Ralph.
Listen, I know enough to be.
All right, Ralph, what are you streaming?
You're gonna love this, John. I am a super freak for courtroom drama. Literally, I could sit in the back of a courtroom, even my own dalliances with courtrooms, and I'm fascinated.
Wait, I'm sorry, Ralph. We should go back a little bit, give a little context.
You know, when you get divorced, you have to go to court.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, yep.
But I could sit in the back of a courtroom, even traffic court, and just the people that come up and do their thing, the lawyers and just people defending themselves. Court TV to me was nirvana when Court TV first came out, and it also coincided with O.J. Simpson trial. Okay, so I watched O.J. Simpson's trial gavel to gavel back in the 90s. I can't remember.
Didn't everybody? I thought everybody did.
I think so, but I actually met the guy who ran Court TV and shook his hand and said, I don't want you to freak out, but I'm a super fan. What you guys are doing is just amazing.
Well, that's put them on the map,
to 2022, and I am completely loving the Alex Jones trial and what's going on, his defamation trial and all that's going on, because what's going on is YouTube is like putting out an hour and a half to 2 hours of the court testimony each night, and I am just obsessed with it. And you know, it's a defamation suit because of what happened with Sandy Hook, so you got that. He's got his producers up there trying to defend what he did. He's got all. It's just an amazing.
Did you hear about the text leak?
The text leak.
I read that. I read that in the Post this afternoon. That
his lawyers. his lawyers sent all his text and emails to the defense team. So all the stuff to the defense team.
No, his lawyer sent it to the prosecutors by accident.
Yeah.
I thought it was. Yeah.
After Alex Jones,
because he's the defendant. He's the defendant.
I never sent a text.
That's right.
Talking about Sandy Hook, and he goes, "Well, that's interesting
emails,
because your lawyer sent me 2 years of texts." So, and he's trying to turn the trial into his show, and the judge is not having any of that.
Right.
And I'm fascinated by like the Johnny Depp thing. I didn't care about. I just felt two rich people.
That was fascinating.
Spoiled.
They were both freak shows.
Yeah, total freak shows. Well, so is Mr. Jones, but
no, I'm not. I mean, I agree.
And this is just and it's Schadenfreude. What's it called?
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. I don't know if that's right. But I'm enjoying his suffering, but I don't know what's going to come of it. But it's amazing. So that's what I'm now obsessed with and been watching in my spare time.
Yeah, but you don't have any time to even watch that stuff, so I don't even know how you watch it.
I don't know how you
watch
do
it.
Yeah,
I watch it while I'm.
I want to hear this. How do you watch it?
I watch it while I'm editing.
Oh, while you're editing.
Yeah.
John, one thing I found when we've been in the edit suite working on this show, Ralph has his I don't know, what is that, an iPad or what is it? Your phone?
Called a cell phone?
He's got his phone on the side and he's got this podcast going while he's editing, while he's working magic.
I don't know how he can do that.
It's a rhythm thing for me. I can't listen to music while I edit, but I need.
But are you processing when you're hearing stuff like on a podcast or something?
Half and half. Obviously, I'm concentrating on the work.
Right. Yeah.
But as long
you're not shortchanging your clients in any way.
No.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make that clear.
John knows my output. My output is pretty substantial.
Well, it helps that he's got a producer that sends him edited sequences already. So.
And I can say this: John does a lot of the work up front. There's no doubt about it. He's old school producer. He's a bit of a frame. Also? It's a bit of a frame effort, but that's
do you
a whole
edit
other story.
too, John?
Well, I edited early in my career.
You did.
But now I'm producing. But for me, it's a processing thing. Some producers can look at transcripts, written transcripts, and start pulling a story out of it. To me, I open up Adobe Premiere and, I have the footage and I start dropping stuff in and I move it around and play with it and, and
then I clean it up and finesse it.
Right.
And change it. And then
it changes it and gets me in trouble.
I got him in trouble on this one because we would send it to the executive producers and I'd go, John, I tried this. I tried something new over here. He goes, I can't send that to them. And he goes, oh, but it looks good. It's working. So he sends it and they go, nope. I keep getting him in trouble.
No, it's, but that's what I love about this is the creative process. It's like you said in your intro or when Ralph was talking about it, it's a hard subject to sit there day in and day out for 6 weeks. I'm into hundreds of hours of stock footage of Ground Zero and all of the stuff that went on, and then we're watching home movies. I won't get into it too much because of the show, but
this is a very personal show.
It's a very personal show, very emotional, it's hard to see. Just thinking about it gets me all choked up, and I want to.
It's hard to separate yourself from it, right?
A little bit.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But then, you creatively, you have a meeting, with everybody that's involved creatively. And even though no producer likes to get notes, to change stuff from above. And I think the older you get, the more you learn that sometimes those notes are really good, and it makes you a better producer because you see what these other people bring to it and what they've done, and you go, oh, that's cool. And that's what I love the most about this is, so it's Ralph and I sitting in the edit suite, and I have my way of doing things, and then he'll show me something and I'll go, wow, that's pretty good, and it makes it worth it to show it to the EP, even if they come back and say, nah, for whatever reason, at least we tried. And I think,
but he has turned into a bit of a frame effort. But that's okay. It's
a frame what?
A frame fucker. Okay.
That's
That's
A frame F for okay.
They go,
You didn't-
okay,
you
that
didn't
looks
have to
good.
say- Can you
That-
cut that out?
no. That 35 frame dissolve looks great. Could you make it 36? There you go.
I
Okay.
never did that, but it's like, and then he tried to. We had the perfect music transition at the end of the show. It was perfect. You know, the music hit right at the moment that, you know, somebody's voice cracked, and then there was a transition to another person. And Ralph did this amazing job, you know, of transitioning the music to fit the scene. And every time I see it, I get, you know, choked up and whatever. And something happened, and it was off by like 10, you know, it was just off a little bit where this little vocal in the music wasn't happening at the right spot. And I'm just like, what the F, Ralph? What, you know, where is it? You got to put it back. And, you know,
And what did he say? He got
he
a lot
fixed
going
it.
on.
He fixed it. Well,
Oh.
but again,
Yeah.
I got to do my show tonight.
I was listening to a podcast at the time. I must have missed it.
but it's, look, as much as I know about it, I don't know it all. And there's a lot of moving parts when you're putting a show together. You know, I'm just looking at it. I'm looking at video.
Right.
I hear stereo audio. Ralph's
Right.
working with 24 tracks of audio and all this other stuff. And so you move one thing, one little piece, and it's connected to another little piece, and
Right.
it throws everything off.
Like the
But-
movie we watched.
Yeah. All right, John, what are you watching?
Wait, I want to ask you a question. I want to plug this a little bit. When do you think this will be out, this show, and what channel is it going to be on?
I don't know if we can talk. Can we talk about it?
It's going to be around 9/11. It's either going to be 9/10 or 9/11.
Oh, it's going to be like an anniversary thing?
Yeah.
And what channel is it going to be on?
It'll be National Geographic.
Okay, so everybody check that out if you get a chance. I'm sure it'll be amazing. I'm not going to lie to you. I am not going to watch it. It's too hard for me to watch that stuff. But check it out if you get a chance. I guess what I'm gonna talk about something I talked about in the other show, but since we have different viewers on this show, I want to bring it up. It's something Ralph recommended, and it's a documentary about the song American Pie, and it's called The Day the Music Died. It's a story of Don McLean, not only how he created the song and why he created it, but the impact on the music industry. And I recommend watching it if you like the song. If you do not like the song, I do not recommend watching
Like
this
a chalkboard.
because there's all kinds of iterations of the song. All these different artists do it. I found it absolutely fascinating. His process for doing the song, writing the song, and the show. I know I'm repeating myself from the other show, but he wrote this, and as he's writing it and kind of plucking it out, he's recording it, and you actually get to hear the cassettes from that first time he was writing the song. And when you see the lyrics of the song, it basically was when he sat there in his little room writing it, it's pretty much what it ended up. There wasn't a lot of changes from the time he wrote it till the time it was recorded. And the recording of the song wasn't going well. The producer and him were not getting along, and it just didn't sound right. And they were doing a bunch of takes of it. I think 30 takes is what I remember him saying. And then he said, listen, I got this guy that happens to be here who plays the keyboard. Why don't we get this guy on it and just see how it goes? Well, the first time they did it, it didn't sound good because he wasn't even listening to the track. So they put the headphones on the pianist, and this guy just started riffing. And it changed the entire song to what you hear today. It was just so, it reminded me of Get Back, which we've talked about on this podcast before. Their process for writing that song and what it ended up becoming and how iconic it became. It's just a great story.
And
But
Billy Preston came in and saved that one.
well, that's what I mean. That's what it reminded me of.
We must really like this because I recommended it on the last Cue It Up.
You did? Oh, you did? Yeah. Well, I watched it. That's the reason why
okay.
I watched it, because of his recommendation. But
Yeah.
but some people who watch us don't really listen to Ralph because
That could
a lot
be.
of his recommendations suck.
Really,
But this-
because everybody has said the same thing in the last three podcasts.
No,
I
YKY.
watched what
not-
Ralph recommended.
Not this one.
Yeah, okay,
YKY.
well,
But it's worth it. Again, and I love that song. Who doesn't? I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't like that song, to be honest
My
with you.
wife, Maria, doesn't like the song.
What doesn't? I mean, that's like whenever
It's
you're in
a-
a bar and that song
Listen,
comes on,
I'm glad I
everybody
found
starts
out-
singing it.
I'm glad I found out after I got married. That's all I'm saying. That
Will you-
could have been a
will-
deal breaker.
Will you cut down to only 2 nights a week over there now?
A long, long time ago.
A long,
The day the marriage died.
Wow. Okay, we'll cut that
And
out.
she doesn't like ABBA. That should have been that should have got a clue right there. But she
doesn't-
loves Freddie Mercury, so what can I say?
She doesn't like ABBA or American Pie.
I don't get it. I think she's
Ralph,
just a contrarian.
I knew. I thought very highly of her, but I knew there was some kind of skeleton in her closet, and
Well,
this is it. Okay, so I'm gonna have to talk to her about that when I see her this weekend.
Yeah, I think you should.
So that's
I think we should play the song. We'll play the song.
I think we should play it more than once. Didn't you play that one idiotic song over and over and over again at the barbecue? What the hell was that song you kept playing? Oh my God.
In the world and they twirl and they tangle, singing and jingling the jangle, floating like the heavens above. It looks like muskrat love.
Muskrat Love. You kept playing it.
That was my dance song.
Over and over and over.
That was our first wedding
And that
dance.
she was okay with. American Pie, she wouldn't be okay
Well, it
with.
was the America version of Muskrat
Yes, I know.
Love,
It
not
wasn't
Captain and Tennille.
It
so.
wasn't the Captain and Tennille version. All right. Anyway, John, thank you so much for joining
Good.
us.
Let's see. We highly recommend that film. Is what we're saying.
Oh yeah, no, I think we
The
all.
Gentleman.
Yeah, I hope everyone got that vibe from us. Great movie. I think you'll really enjoy it. And again, pay attention to what's going on there. And take a look at some of the stuff we recommended tonight on StreamQuest too. John, thanks for joining us. Hopefully we can do this again. Hope you'll join us again. Hope you had fun. And guys, remember, subscribe, hit the like button, and share it, please. And that's it. And listen, we're going to rock out to the music now. Ralph, hit the music. John, get into the music. Ready? Hit the remote.
Hang on.
And just get into it, John. Just get into it. Ready? Yeah. Get in. Get in. Yeah.
John, I'll see you
Good night,
tomorrow.
everyone.
See you in the edit suite.
We'll see you.
Good seeing you, John.
Yeah, thanks, man. Take care.
Muskrat love.